Hey everyone, my name is Paul Joseph Russell, but you can just call me Joe. I've embarked on a journey to write my first novel, in fact, a trilogy of novels called Rivendoah. I live with my husband Richard on 6 acres of land nestled in the wilds of Virginia, and every Monday I post a video sharing the progress of my writing as well as projects on our little stretch of land. This week's video is part 2 of the trail less traveled. So I hope you'll join me on my adventures in living as a writer and an artist. Hey everybody, welcome back. In last week's video, I tackled a large pine that fell across our woodland path. With my chainsaw and my axe, I was able to chop it up and clear the trail, but I did run into some problems that made the job take a lot longer than I had anticipated. It ended up taking several hours when I thought it would probably be done in an hour. My chainsaw got crimped between the two pieces of the trunk, so I did end up making this into 2 videos. Now we can get to part 2 of my video, The Trail Less Traveled. Well, I got that done, at least for the most part. I still have a little bit of cleanup to do. But as I mentioned earlier, I was planning to cut a bike trail, a new bike trail through a lower part of our wooded property to kind of add to the number of trails for biking. And I was planning it especially for a woodland autumn bike video that I was planning. I mean, I can still do that with the trails that we have, but I came across something unexpected when I was walking our dogs, and it sort of put a kibosh on the cutting of the bike trail today. Andy and I were heading down the trail just the other day, and I smelled something awful, and I knew that it was something that had probably died. Hey, I thought I would go ahead and record this. I am out walking the dogs and can smell something horrible. Smells like decomposition. So I'm gonna see what I can find. Might be a dead animal. I think it must be right over here, because it smells pretty bad. Ugh. I circled around to the lower half of our property trying to discover where the smell was coming from. I knew it was getting close when I saw these massive birds overhead. They're actually black turkey vultures. And they have a wingspan of over 6 feet, and they make a terrible racket when they were crashing through the trees. I couldn't believe how many there were. You know, I saw one at first, and then all of a sudden they were everywhere. They also make a very unpleasant clucking, croaking sort of sound that I swear sent a chill down my spine. However, they do provide an important service in our ecological system. They are the sort of the animals or the birds that clean up the mess. Finally, I came across what I had feared, a dead animal. I was walking through the woods, sort of in the thick undergrowth, and I saw that it was a full-grown deer, a doe. I wanted to share what I found, but I feel I should offer a warning for those who might not want to look, because death can be very uncomfortable to see. The poor thing must have been hit by a car, or maybe even was shot. I suppose even a tree may have fallen on it in Hurricane Ida, which was coming through the area, at that time. And I don't know how it passed, but it was clearly there. As I was looking down at the deer, I realized that it lay right across the area in the woods where I was planning to cut the trail. I don't want to change the route of the trail, so I kind of came to the decision that I'm just going to wait a while, and probably until next spring, to cut that second or third trail that I have planned through that area. I just don't feel comfortable cutting the trail now, or trying to be anywhere near or close to that. It just would be, not to mention the smell, it just seems that it would not be the right thing to do. I have to admit that the whole thing left me feeling a little depressed. I almost skipped this week's video, but decided I ought to share the things that are happening here in the woods that give inspiration to my writing, warts and all. Since my trail less traveled concept for this video sort of fell to the wayside because I couldn't cut the trail that I was planning on doing, I've decided to take what did happen and use death sort of as the inspiration for this video, in that I want to talk a little bit about how I am incorporating the death of my characters in Rivendoah. I've discussed my thoughts on this in other videos where I have, talked about making the decision fairly early on in writing Rivendoah that all of my characters would be up on the chopping block if it suited the narrative and drove the story forward. Some of my favorite novels and book series and movies and TV series often have a core group of characters that nothing ever happens to. They get close to something bad happening, sort of in cliffhanger situations, but they always come through and they always survive. And I did not want to take that approach. As a writer, I know how difficult that can be, killing off your characters. You spend so much time and energy and effort writing these characters and developing their backstory, and you really kind of fall in love with them. You really love them or like them so much, and I think you have to in order to really invest in writing them. So killing them off to suit the story can be difficult. However, there are many books and movies and TV series where almost the entire cast can be killed off. And I think it's very important that you do it for a purpose, to really drive the story forward. But and I also believe that doing that is a signal to the audience or the reader that this is a serious situation where anything can happen, and even the most important characters can be killed off. I think I have mentioned Stephen King's Salem's Lot, one of my favorite books of all time. And he has a huge cast and a core set of 5 to 6 characters, and almost everybody dies, including all but 2 of the main characters. So it's difficult, even as a reader, to experience that when you really become invested in a character, but it makes for a very rewarding story. No matter who lives or dies in Rivendoah, I want to write my characters with as much truth and honesty as I can. I believe that is the only way that the reader will come to identify with that character and love them as much as I do in writing them. I just hope that my writing lives up to these words. Okay, with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video today. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the content of this video. It helps bring my thoughts about the writing of my first novel to a wider audience and to people just like you. I'm going to leave you with some images of our little slice of woodland, which is experiencing summer's last hurrah. Until the next video, I'll see you then.